Okay. I should have put the book on first, but I didn't. Let me do it now. مختصر قدوري كتاب الصلاة. We are doing this special training. Is it starting now? Hmm? Leave the camera. I'll check here. Starting? Good. Okay then. So Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina ومولانا محمد معدن الجود والكرم وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم وصلي عليه.
Don't you read the Sahih first? Read the Sahih.
Should we do that first? Okay, so for barakah, what we will do, just read one hadith first, and after that we'll move on to our fiqh lesson because the time is really short today. And we also intend to break the fast and also read namaz and maghrib in the meantime. So that will take time. And remind me of the page we're doing? 76 something.
77.
77 hadith. Chapter of reliance. Yeah, that's right. So today we're going to do hadith number 78, the only hadith we do today. And so let's begin then.
78.
Huh?
The long one.
The long one, yes.
We've done that.
Have we done
The
that?
one where the Bedouin comes.
Oh yeah, we just finished that one. So the 79, that piece. So we're doing 79 hadith number today. Mr. Rakeen, can you sit down please? Okay, try read the hadith then. Number 79, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Small hadith, I mean small in the words.
عن عمر رضي الله عنه
Close this window. Close that window. Okay, read the hadith.
قال سمعت رسول الله يقول
صلى الله عليه وسلم.
لو أنكم
Yes.
تتوكلون
تتوكلون
على الله حق توكله لرزقكم كما
يرزق الطير. Did we do this? We did this. No, we did this. No.
No, we haven't done this.
No, sorry. That's similar to this on the 77. So yeah, we haven't done this. Go ahead.
تغدو خماصا
وتروح بطانا.
وتروح بطانا.
Good. MashaAllah. So hadith number 79, Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu narrates, and he says that I have heard Aqa alayhi salatu salam say that say to me that, or say to people, لو أنكم تتوكلون على الله حق توكله لرزقكم كما يرزق الطير. That if you relied on Almighty Allah, if you relied on Almighty Allah the way He deserves to be relied upon, haqqa tawakkulihi, the way He deserves to be relied upon, then He would in return provide you, sustain you and feed you the way He feeds the birds. So the birds have no apparent means of income. They don't go to work to earn the money or the food, but they rely on Almighty Allah and they know that they will get the food, and for that reason they leave, they every morning, they reach the morning in a state of hunger, but they go forth hungry, but when they return they are full. So the belly is full by the dusk. So in the morning they will be hungry, but by the time it is evening they are full. So because of their tawakkul, they get the food every day without any apparent means. A simple hadith pak, and this simply means that Almighty Allah provides sustenance to the one who trusts. This trust basically is not only in the food, it's in everything. So as long as you remain trusting, relying on Almighty Allah, He will always be there for you, and His mercy and His help and assistance will be with you all the time. So simple hadith pak. Let's move on and do hadith number 80, and after that we will go to our fiqh lesson inshallah ta'ala. Hadith number 80, عن أبي عمارة البراء بن عازب قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يا فلان إذا أويت إلى فراشك فقل اللهم أسلمت نفسي إليك ووجهت وجهي إليك وألجهت ظهري إليك وفوضت أمري إليك رغبة ورهبة إليك لا ملجأ ولا منجا منك إلا إليك آمنت بكتابك الذي أنزلت وبرسولك الذي أرسلته فإن مت من ليلتك مت على الفطرة وإن أصبحت خيرا.
So in this book it says فإنك إن مت من ليلتك
Mitta is also better. Mitta is better. Mitta. Yeah. Mitta. I'm sorry, wrote it wrong. Mitta. So فإن مت من ليلتك مت على الفطرة وإن أصبحت خيرا. So this hadith partner was Barra bin Azib radiallahu anhu, one of the companions, and he said the Aqari Hassan told us a dua for going to Rakin, for going to the bed. The dua is, let me put this on for you as well, so I've never turned this on today. Where's the remote for this? Turn it on for me. Yeah. Find the remote. So, it would be in the drawer. Alright, let's concentrate then. We turned on anyway. It's coming up. It'll take time.
It's in the slight one.
Yeah, do that. Right, so فَإِن مِتَّ عَلَى الْفِطْرَةِ, that Aqa alayhi salam, he ordered me, so he ordered us to read the dua whenever I go to the bed. And the dua is Allahumma aslamtu nafsi ilayk. Memorize this dua. Do you have the book? So memorize the dua. Sit down, okay, leave it a moment. So whenever you go to the bed, simply do this. That read this dua. The dua is what?
اللهم أسلمت نفسي إليك
Read the dua, yes?
ووجهت وجهي إليك وفوضت أمري إليك
أمري إليك
وألجأت ظهري إليك رغبة
رغبة رهبة
رهبة إليك
لا ملجأ
ولا منجأ
منك إلا إليك آمنت
بكتابك الذي
أرسلت أنزلت وبنبيك الذي أو برسولك الذي أرسلت. So two narrations. One says بنبيك الذي, this one says وبرسولك الذي أرسلت. Right? So this dua you should memorize, and whenever you go to bed you should read this dua. Okay? Mr. Rakeen, did you get this? Did you get this or no? No. Yes. That's fine. So that's it. Then you should do the two hadiths only, and after that we will carry on doing our fiqh lesson inshallah. May Allah allow us the ability to act upon the hadith mubarakah and take benefit of that. So Irfan Sab's here. Welcome. So we are going to start our fiqh lesson now, inshallah ta'ala.
Last lesson we learnt about the prayer of a traveller and the intention he must make, and the namaz and how he should shorten his namaz.
Okay.
And so if one is going to do this, he needs to intend to travel to a place which takes 3 days of journey from home on camel, and he must intend that the distance is from home to the destination. So if he doesn't intend to travel and he goes very far, then still he does not become a traveller. So when a person who is musafir the four fard rakat become 2 fard
He reads
rakat.
qasr instead
He makes
of
qasr.
the full,
And whatever is 2 rakat fards or 3 rakat fards, they stay the same.
Ask for where is he?
And if for
Rakeen, something from you now. Have you been attending classes?
Travel on Camel over foot.
Over foot. And you will be okay. Is that what you wrote there? Huh? Strange.
And if you travel for more than 48 miles, then you travel long. Something like that.
No, I mean the distance of 3 days by foot or camel.
where are we? Top levels.
Alright, so let's talk about fiqh then. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد معدن الجود والكرم وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم وصل عليه. So far we had covered in the book of Salah up to Salatul Musafir, as Mr. Ali was mentioning, and before that we did cover Sujood Tilawa and Salatul Marid also, and also Sujood Sahaw. And also before that we mentioned about Qira'at and other things which you would have noted down. So today we are going to talk about Salatul Jumu'ah, the Friday prayer. And the Ibara reads that لا تصح الجمعة إلا في مصر جامع. That the Jumu'ah, Friday is not acceptable or valid. Friday namaz, the Jumu'ah itself, not the Zuhr, the Friday, which is the 2 rakats of Friday prayer, is not valid except in a large town, a Jami' Misr, not a small town, but a large town. Or in the prayer, أو في مصلى المصري, or the Musalla al-Misr means the prayer area of the large town. So, in the town, or sometime, the town might have a musalla outside the town because of the gathering. They might have a place where they have a massive area where they want to read the namaz. In this place they can do the namaz. Although this is outside the town now, but because this is still attached to the town, you can do it there. But apart from that, you can't do it.
How would
Just a minute, I will come to it. I will come to the question, right? So, now these are, major conditions, but there are other conditions as well now. But the shurut, the conditions for the Jumu'ah to be acceptable are 12 in fact. One of that is the person must be free, not imprisoned. So in the prisons now people are reading Jumu'ah these days, even in the UK. First thing that in the UK there's opinion that Jumu'ah does not establish at all, because we will learn later that for Jumu'ah to be established, it must be the Sultan must be present. And also because this is Darul Harab, to a certain extent people have claimed that Darul Harab can't do Jumu'ah. But yet to keep the Sha'ir Islam, a great sign of Islam, which is Jumu'ah, we still continue to hold the Friday prayer in the mosque, but yet we are required to intend the Zuhr after in the 4 sunnahs that we do after the Jumu'ah. some people say that we should intend to read 4 fard instead at that point. Fard of the Zuhr, so that we can do Jum'ah and the Zuhr both, to be on the safe side. One of the condition is Hurriya, so imprisoned person cannot do Jum'ah. Similarly, Zukura, that Jum'ah is only for the male, not for the female. And Bulugh, the person must have reached the age of puberty. And Iqama, and must not be a Musafir. Musafir doesn't have to do Jum'ah, but if he does, he will still get the reward. And then Siha, he must not be patient, must not be ill, and also must be able to walk and must be able to see. So blind person, because he cannot see, he can instead read Jum'ah at home. These are the conditions attached to the person himself. Other conditions, that this must be done in Misr, as you mentioned, Misr Jami'. And then the Sultan must be present, or his order, it must be established on the order of the Sultan. And it must be done in Jama'ah. And we'll come to that, what's the Jama'ah and how much the limit of the Jama'ah. And also that the khutbah must be established, and they must be done in the waqt. So a lot of 12 conditions in total. So must be done in Misr Jami', a proper town, large town, not just a random, small town, like a village. Must be a proper large town where it should be held. And for that reason, وَلَا تَجُودُ فِي الْقُرَى, it is not acceptable and permissible to establish Jum'ah in the Qura. In the villages, or should I put that on? In the villages.
So how do you differentiate a village from town?
So village is a big thing, town, village is a small thing, town is a big thing.
But say within the village, there's a school, there's Jamia Masjid, and there's a marketplace. Would that be classed as a town?
In the village, majority of villages now do have these things, but that will still not be town. Town is basically what is a town? No, village. You can hold on. Okay, so what was I saying? I'll put that on for you. Oh, how?
Sultan.
Mr. Rakheen, note down the first line, you can do. That's all you do actually. So I was saying that وَلَا تَجُوزُ فِي الْقُرَى, in the villages you can't do the Jum'ah. Okay, and also the iqamat of the Jum'ah can only be established for the Sultan. Sultan, the ruler of the time. So only can be established with the ruler. The ruler must be present in the Misr, and he must have ordered. The ruler would mean a qadi, the judge appointed by the Islamic court, Islamic ruler. Islamic Qadi, and he must be present, or the ruler would mean the Amir of the town, the mayor appointed by the Islamic ruler, because he represents the ruler, he must be present in Jum'ah. If not, أو من أمره Sultan, or the Amir of the Qadi, or the one whose Sultan has appointed. And also ومن شرائطها الوقت. Another condition is the waqt, the time must have entered, time of Zuhr. And the Jum'ah can only be done in the time of Zuhr, and after the time of Zuhr it cannot be done. So once the time of Zuhr lapses, the Jum'ah is missed. So you can't do Jum'ah after time of Zuhr. Unlike Zuhr, you can do Qada of that, but Jum'ah cannot be done Qada. ومن شرائطها الخطبة قبل الصلاة, and with one of the conditions is that there must be a khutbah before the namaz. As we see every day, every Friday, that a khutbah is done before the Friday prayer is established, and they must do so in order to establish the khutbah. If there is no khutbah, there is no namaz. And khutbah must also be ba'd al-zawal, after the time begins, and must be the khutbah must also be with the minimum number of the people, so minimum 3 number of people, and بحضرة الرجال, and if the khutbah was done after the namaz or was done before the zawal time, then Jumu'ah is not jaiz. How is the khutbah done? The 2 khutbahs and khutbatain, and among the 2 khutbahs the person would sit down for a short time. I'm fine with this in the translation. Is it there? Okay, so 2 khutbahs, and among the khutbah there must be a gap in which the person who the imam would sit down, and the sitting down time would be as long as 3 verses of Holy Quran. Sorry, 3 small verses of Quran, or 1 long verse. And it is sunnah to recite Holy Quran in the khutbah. You find it? Which one? Veggie. Sit down then. The king is finding plenty. There's the water bowl. Do you have any glass? Okay. Thank you. Exactly. Right. So we are learning about the Friday and the conditions of the Friday. And from the conditions is the khutbah. And in between the khutbah there must be a pause where the imam would sit down for at least 3 small verses, the time of that. And the khutbah itself would be at least 3 verses of Holy Quran. And the sunnah and the khutbah is that one must do tahmeed, the praise of Almighty Allah, and also the thana and the salat on Aqa alayhi salatu salam, salutations, and also there must be some advice for the general believers, and must be some qiraat of the Holy Quran, and there must be dua for the mu'minin and mu'minat, and وَيَخْطُبُ قَائِمًا عَلَى طَهَارَةٍ. That the khutbah must be done standing, and also must be done in the state of wudu, state of purification. فإن اقتصر على ذكر الله تعالى جاز عند أبي حنيفة. But if you only stood up and said Allahu Akbar, or did only restricted this to Alhamdulillah or Subhanallah or La ilaha illallah and sat down, jaiz. In the Imam Sahib it is jaiz. However, Sahibain say La Buddha min dhikrin tabilin yusamma khutbatan. One cannot escape or it is necessary to do a longer khutbah, which one could name as khutbah. Huh?
What language should the khutbah be done?
Arabic, obviously.
Only Arabic.
Only Arabic. And I think that will come later. The khutbah is not a jais. Maybe in this. No, it's not mentioned here, but I read, I think, in other book, or maybe in Nur al-Idah, when we're doing it, the khutbah cannot be done in Arabic. Because that is sunnah. So if you do it in your own language, you're not doing khutbah. You're doing something else. So khutbah, according to sunnah, is only in Arabic. And in Arabic, you're required to read Holy Quran mainly, and also, as you mentioned, sunnah is reading Sana on Almighty Allah, Tahmeed and Salat and Akhalisatu Salam, and Dua for the Mu'min Mu'minat. And so, وَإِنْ خَطَبَ قَاعِدًا أَوْ عَلَى غَيْرِ طَهَارَةٍ جَازَ. However, if you did khutbah sitting down, that's jais. Or if you did the khutbah, without the wudu, that's also jais. So both ways. The necessary, it is required that he should do the standing and also in the state of wudu. But if you did so without standing, sitting down, or also without the wudu, then that's fine. It is jais. But it is makruh, however. Makruh in a sense that because after the khutbah, you'll have to go and do wudu. And that will be some gap in between. Because you can't do namaz without wudu, obviously. You have to go do wudu. So why not do wudu first? Instead of, delaying the namaz later. So this gap that will come in between, for that reason it is meant to be makruh to do khutbah without the tahara. Right? And وَمِن شَرَائِطِهَا الْجُمُعَةِ. From the conditions necessary for the Jum'ah, for the khutbah. So condition for the khutbah is that it must be مِن شَرَائِطِهَا الْجَمَاعَةِ, not Jum'ah, Jama'ah must be done before the Jama'ah. Or the Jum'ah, the shart of the Jum'ah, shart of the Friday prayer is the Jama'ah. The Jama'at must be present. I think we mentioned this early. Yeah, we mentioned this early. So khutbah is one condition, and also Jama'at is another condition. And the أقلهما عند أبي حنيفة ومحمد ثلاثة نصيب الإمام. And the minimum amount of people, minimum number of people that should be present in the Jum'ah, in the Imam Sahib, is Thalatha. 3 except Imam, so 4 in total. Whereas Sahibain Imam Abu Yusuf says Isnan Imam should be 2 still other than Imam, so 3 in total. And they must all be 3 people must be men, not the children, because they should also be capable of doing Imam. If the Imam breaks the wudu, for example, then they should be able to, be made the deputy, have the capability of that. So if they're not, then obviously, for example, women or the children cannot be done so. And وَيَجْهَرُ الْإِمَامُ بِالْقِرَاءَةِ فِي رَكْعَتَيْنِ. That in the Friday prayer, the Imam has to do the qira'ah. So Imam has to do the qira'ah in the namaz, in the rak'atayn, 2 rakats of the be Friday because Khalid Sallam had done so, and the Sunnah. وَلَيْسَ فِيهِمَا قِرْأَةُ سُورَةٍ عَيْنِهِمَا, that it is not required to read only one surah, to specify one surah and read that only. Like some people might have chosen Surah A'la and also Surah Jathiyah. Is it Jathiyah? Not Jathiyah. Al-Ghashiyah. So A'la and Ghashiyah, often they read that Sunnah, so they often read only that. لَيْسَ فِيهِمَا قِرْأَةُ سُورَةٍ بِعَيْنِهِمَا. So in the 2 rakats of Jum'ah, there is no requirement of just reading only selective and only one surah and not moving away from that. Is that clear so far? So what did I mention so far? Can you repeat, Mr. Rakim? You can follow the screen to help you in that, to help you cheat.
Jum'ah,
Okay.
travel and
Zafar, help him.
For Jummah, to make it valid, there should
You weren't
be
here when you started, were you?
Hmm?
You were not here when you started.
But I'll just see what I had.
Yeah.
To make Jummah valid, there must at least be 3 people behind the Imam.
Imam Sahib says, well, Sahib and Qazi Yusuf says it should be 2 at least.
2 at least, not including the Imam.
So including 1 3, yeah.
And the khutbah should be before the Jummah prayer.
Right.
Um,
So 4 people are watching us. Who 4? Can you mention names, please? One of you?
it must be at Zohar
You as
time.
well? So 1 is Irfan Saab, 2. Who 2 other people are watching us apart from Irfan and Ali? 3 now. So you close it? Just alone. Last time we had brother, Mikhail from Manchester. I'm not sure whether he joined us today or not.
I don't think he knows that we do it every day.
Yeah. I told him to subscribe so he'll get the notification in that case. I don't know.
To read Jummah, you must be in the time of the Zohar.
Good. So that is one condition. But there's another condition, Mr. Rakim?
it needs to be Muslim.
No, it could be Christian.
That is the condition for the person himself. But for the Jummah to be established, there's another condition. There must be something before Jummah. What's that?
The khutbah.
Good. There must be khutbah
Before the
before
salah.
Jummah. And what is khutbah? Ali.
When the Imam Sahib recites and glorifies Allah, and he should praise Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
And how is the khutbah done? 2 khutbahs.
It should be done while standing in the state of wuzu.
Good.
But it's jais to sit down
And do without wuzu.
and do it without
And the
wuzu.
khutbahs are 2 khutbahs,
Yeah,
and
2
in between
khutbah.
there's a pause
Of
of at least 3 small verses.
or 1 long verse.
Yeah. Good. So let's move on then in that case. And this time we're telling that the Jum'ah is not obligatory upon the Musafir. وَلَا تَجِبُ الْجُمْعَةُ عَلَى مُسَافِرٍ. So as we mentioned early, one of the conditions of the Jum'ah is that the person must be muqim, because Musafir doesn't have to do Jum'ah. وَلَا امْرَأَةٍ, neither the lady, the female, the woman has to do it. وَلَا مَرِيدٍ, and that an ill person who is not able to go to the mosque because of his illness, or illness, how do you say the Londoners? Illness. Illness, right. So, وَلَا عَبْدٍ, and he must not be a slave. وَلَا عَلَى أَعْمَى, and as we mentioned earlier, the person must not be blinded. these are the conditions which relieve the person from the Friday prayer, so they don't have to be present for the Friday prayer. However, if they did فإن حضروا وصلوا مع الناس أجزأهم عن فرض الوقت, that if they still went and did the Friday prayer, and then the fard of the waqt, which is Zohr, because they didn't have to do Jummah, they had to read Zohr prayer instead. But if they went to read Jummah instead, then that will be fine. That will be enough for them for the Zohr, and will praise the Zohr for them. Although they didn't have to do the Jummah originally, but if they did so, then that will be sufficient in place of Zohr as well. Okay, is that clear? But if they didn't read Jummah, then they'll have to do Zohr instead. ويجوز للمسافر والعبد والمريض أن يؤموا في الجمعة. That the musafir and the abd and the marid, although the Jummah is not necessary for them, but if they go and they lead Jummah, that's fine. They can lead. They can be imam in Jummah. Lead the Friday prayer. Right? Any questions? So who doesn't have to do Jummah, Rakim?
Non-Muslims.
No, from the Muslims, who doesn't have to do Jummah? Zafar?
A traveller,
Good?
a slave, an ill person,
Woman.
Women, blind
a
person.
woman, and a blind person.
Lion person. Good. But if they go and do, that will be
It's
suffice for the time. And they can also lead the Jummah. ومن صلى الظهر في منزله يوم الجمعة قبل صلاة الإمام بلا عذر به كره له ذلك وجاء صلاته. The person who read Zuhr in his house on the Friday prayer, before the Jummah was established by the Imam, and there's no apparent reason for why he's doing so. He's not marid or any of the conditions which allowed to read Jummah at home or allowed to read Zuhr at home are not present. Then obviously it is makruh for him. However, the namaz is fine. Namaz is sufficient and jaiz, permissible. So person read Jummah, didn't read Jummah, but before Jummah he read Zuhr already, without any necessity. So there was no condition which could have made the Jummah, which could relieve him from the Jummah prayer. Then in this case, this is makruh and namaz is jaiz. However, فإن بدأ له أن يحضر الجمعة, if then it occurred to him that he wanted to go to Jummah, then what happens is that and also he intended to go Jummah and also started walking towards that. فَتَوَجَّهَ إِلَيْهَا. And not only that he intended, but also made effort, set out towards the mosque to read Friday. And this will make the namaz batil. So although Zohr he had done that already, but once he intended to go to Jummah and he made clear intention and started walking towards that, the Jummah, the Friday, so the Zohr that he's done already, that is void now. Right? Invalid and void from that point. Invalidated, you can say. So the moment he starts making effort, his Jummah becomes invalid. Sorry, let me take the call. Yes, where you come. Okay, so we were talking about what? The person who reads Jummah at home, but then he starts walking towards the mosque. Imam Sahib says that, Hazrat Imam Abu Hanifa radiallahu anhu says, the moment he starts making effort towards the Jummah, that means his namaz, his Zuhr namaz, will become invalidated. Whereas the Imam Abu Yusuf says, and Sahibain both, لا تبطل حتى يدخل مع الإمام, this will not be invalidated until he enters the mosque, or enters the place where the Jummah is being offered, حتى يدخل مع الإمام, until he reaches the place where the Imam is and starts the namaz, his original namaz will not be invalidated. Right? And furthermore, Rakeen, pay attention please. Furthermore, ويكره أن يصلي مع المعذورون الظهر في جماعة يوم الجمعة. That people who are ma'ذور, they cannot go to the mosque. Right? They can't go to the mosque. And similarly, the people of the prison, they can't go to the mosque. It is makruh for them to establish a Jummah, read Jummah in Jama'at. So in this country, you might see a lot of prisons holding the Friday prayer with Jama'at. That's makruh. Allowed, yet makruh. Jaiz, however, makruh. وَكَذَا أَهْلُ السِّجْنِ. Similarly, the people of the prison, they shouldn't, they should avoid this makruh, so they should read Zuhr instead. So better for them to read Zuhr. But now, because the people who lead the Jummah, they get paid for that. So there is the job created with that. So the Imam Sahib who goes and leads Jummah gets paid quite well. So in this country. And the thing itself is makruh. So the earning is makruh in that case. ومن أدرك الإمام يوم الجمعة صلى معه ما أدرك وبنى عليها الجمعة. That a person who finds Imam on the day of Friday, are you with us, Mr. Zafar? Are you talking? That the person who finds Imam in the Jama'ah, صلى معه ما أدرك وبنى عليها الجمعة. The person who finds Imam in the Jama'ah, then what he would do is he would read whatever he found with Imam from the Jum'ah, and that means then he will stand up and complete his 2 rak'ats, and he will base his Jum'ah on that. So even if you found him in tashahhud, he found the Jum'ah. He will stand up and complete the 2, and that would mean he will find the Jum'ah. So person got late. So unlike other namazes, when you have to to find the rak'at, you have to reach before the ruku. Before the person stands up from the ruku, the imam. Then if they do, then you miss the rak'ah. In this case, if you reach even in the shahud, before salam, and you found the Jum'ah, not the rak'at, but you found the Jum'ah, so you have to stand up and complete the 2 rak'ats from the start. But yet you found this, you will get the sawab with the Jum'ah. This is Imam Sahib's qawl. However, the Imam Muhammad rahimahullah says, in adraka ma'ahu akthar rak'atay saniyati bana alayhi al-jum'ata, that if he found him before ruku of the second rak'ah, akthar rak'atay saniyah, before the ruku of the second rak'ah, then that is fine. He can then base, on that he can base his Jum'ah, but apart from that, he will read. So, he won't get the Jum'ah. Is that clear? So what was the hukm then, Zafar?
If the person who is about to join Jum'ah sees the Imam in tashahhud,
Define dates, no? Bring something else. There's time to open. One left one. One date? You got one date? Yeah, but he's got 3, so he can share. Reckon you fasted? Okay, so time to open the fast, and those who are watching us online, they can also break their fast and maybe 3 minutes or 4 minutes, then come back for the class. The fast, we shall resume our class, and we will maybe in 10 minutes time have the break for the namaz. So وترك الناس الصلاة والكلام حتى يفرغ من خطبته. As soon as the person, وإذا خرج الإمام يوم الجمعة, as soon as the Imam comes out, well, on the day of Friday, so the Imam comes out on the day of Friday and sits on the minbar, or the day is the people shall stop talking and shall stop reading in the namaz that are reading. So they shouldn't be doing a nafl after that. Even the nafl of the Tahiyat al-Masjid. حتى يفرغ من خطبته, until he has finished his khutbah. Now this means that as soon as Imam sits down for the khutbah, people should stop talking and also stop reading in namaz. And the first azan, when it has been done on the day of Friday, the people should stop the transactions, business transactions, shira, buying and selling, and should head towards the Friday for the namaz. And once they reach there, once they reach there, once the Imam sits on the minbar, فإذا صعد الإمام المنبر جلس وأذن مؤذنون, that once Imam stands on the minbar and sits down, then the mu'adhdhinun would do the adhan thani, as you would have seen this, that the second azan is done, and this azan is done in front of the minbar, no right and no left, right in front of the minbar. And then Imam would do khutbah. Once he has finished the khutbah, they would establish the namaz. So that is what is Jummah all about. So is that clear now, Mr. Rakeen, Zafar and Ali, and Mr. Irfan Sahab as well, watching online, and possibly one more person watching online. So we covered the Friday prayer today and all the issues attached to this, and hopefully you will be able to revise this. And now the time basically for us to go for the namaz of the Maghrib, and once we have done that, we'll come back and just do some more, Salatul Eidain as well. Try and cover Salatul Eidain, and once we finish the topic of Salah, we intend to go and study some fasting, because the month of fasting is coming. So after Kitab al-Salah, we won't go ahead and read Kitab al-Zakat. We'll delay that, and read the Kitab al-Sawm first, Kitab al-Sawm for the fasting. So we have to learn the Masail of fasting first, and then we will go on to read the Kitab al-Zakah. Okay? So after this, we have got some Masail of Eidain left, and after that I think we've got Salatul Kusuf and Istisqa and Qiyam Shahr Ramadan, Tarawih wishes, and Salatul Khawf, Dawul Janaiz, and we will do that all inshallah ta'ala. And so Janazah is also very important, and so time for reading namaz now. Okay? So Barakallah, thank you for being here. So now that we're going to read namaz, and after namaz we'll do some Salatul Eidain inshallah. Time for a short break and also some namaz. Bring the mic here. Where's the mic? Ali? You brought the mic. Mic. Alright, so Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, and welcome back after the prayer break, and we will do some more fiqh now, and we want to discuss the times of Eid now. The Salatul Eidain, 2 Eids, just before we go. We normally finish at 10 o'clock, yeah? Or 9.
They normally finish at 9 o'clock.
We can do the extra hour.
Yeah, because we started late. So let's do extra hour. So, Salatul Eidain then. And Salatul Eidain basically means that, he mentions under the Salatul Eidain, the Sahib al-Qudoori, that يستحب or يستحب يوم الفطر أن يطعم الإنسان قبل الخروج إلى المصلى ويغتسل ويتطيب. That on the day of Eid, the small Eid of Eid al-Fitr, it is mustahab to eat something before exiting for the Eid place. Eid, not the Salah. Musalla means, because Eid is meant to be read outside the town, in a Musalla, which is special for the Eid, because of the gathering, large gathering. It used to be without people in the mosque anyway. So when you're exiting for the intention to go for the place where the Eid is being read, it is mustahab to eat something before that, and also mustahab to do the bathing, the shower, and also to apply some scent. Is it fragrance? Yeah. Or something with good smell and fragrance. So scent is the better word. Apply the scent.
Incense.
Huh?
Incense.
No, you do it in the house.
No.
Scented.
Fragrance. What for what?
Fragrance is right, but I'm saying that the tweeb better translated with scent actually. And what is he saying now? Scroll this down. Perfume. Perfume better. Apply the perfume or scent. So, but remember, the scent that you apply now has to be free from alcohol. Today a lot of the scents, the perfume they get, they are full of alcohol, and every single one of them will have alcohol, one or another. You can change the name, but still that will be inside. So make sure that the perfume you apply, the itr, is free from the alcohol. And also, وَيَتَوَجَّهُ إِلَى الْمُصَلَّى, and must turn towards the musalla, and mustahab is to go towards the musalla, the mosque, walking. So going to the mosque walking, because Khalid did so and said he never actually went to musalla on a means of travel. An animal. That used to be the means of travel at that time. Nowadays that would do car. But he never used transport for the purpose of going to the musalla Eid. Always walked towards it. But when you come back at that time, you can ride on the camel or your car. ويكبر في طريق المصلى عند أبي حنيفة في عيد الفطر. We're still talking about Eid al-Fitr now. for the Eid al-Fitr, the person would not do the takbir.
What should be the tasbih, not the
The
takbir?
person going to Musalla will not do takbir loudly. However, silently he can do, still recommended, mustahab. But loudly doing takbir is not allowed. I mean, he shouldn't do it. According to the Imam have. Whereas the Imam Sahibain still saying that وَيُكَبِّرُ عِنْدَهُمَا, that he would do this audibly. And furthermore, once he reaches Musalla, وَيَتَنَفَّلْ فِي الْمُصَلَّى قَبْلَ صَلَاةِ الْعِيدِ, then he is not allowed to do nafil before the Eid prayers has been established. So once he reaches Musalla, he is not allowed to do the Salat al-Eid in the Musalla, in the prayer place of Eid. This is not masnoon, however, it's not makruh, but it's not masnoon. It's not not according to Sunnah. So Hazrat Ali saw a person or some people reading nafil before the Eid, and he told them that we used to read the Eid with Aqal Salam, but he didn't do any nafil before the Eid. Then they said, Inna ana a'lamu anna Allah ta'ala la yu'adhibuni as-salat. I know that Allah will not give me punishment for reading namaz. So he told us that he said, we used to read Bibi Holy Prophet, he never read this namaz. He said, I know that Allah will not give me punishment for just reading the namaz. Hazrat Ali said, look at the reply, he said, وأنا أعلم أن الله تعالى لا يثيبك على مخالفة رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. I know Allah will not leave you for going against the Holy Prophet. So that means he indicated that it's against the Sunnah. So Aqal never he never did so. So reading nafil before the namaz Eid in the Musalla is not allowed. فإذا حلت الصلاة بارتفاع الشمس دخل وقتها للزواج. Once the sun rises, the namaz becomes halal, jaiz, permissible, legal and legitimate. So, and that also marks the beginning of the waqt of the salah, and so from that point to the zawal, that's all namaz of the time for namaz Eid on the day of Fitr. Once the sun declines, once the sun declines, there we are, then that means, where is it? The decline of the sun means that the time has finished. ويصلي الإمام بالناس ركعتين ويكبر in both the Eidain, the same method of namaz will be adopted. That Imam will read 2 rak'atayn. He would do takbir at the start, and that is takbir at-tahrima. But after that, he would do, before reading Fatiha, he would do 3 more extra zaid takbirat. Right? ثم يقرأ فاتحة الكتاب, then he would read Fatiha and Surah with that, and then he would do takbir for going to ruku, and then in second rak'ah he would start with qira'at, but before going to ruku he would do 3 takbirat again. Then with the 4th takbir he would go to ruku. These are 3 or 6 extra takbirat in the namaz Eid, and with the extra takbirat, 3 before Fatiha in the first rak'ah and 3 after qira'at before ruku in the second rak'ah, he has to all of you, all of the muqtadiyin, and the imam, they have to raise the hands. So rafa' yadayn in these takbirat is sunnah, so they have to raise the hand. Right? That is the namaz Eid. Both. Both same. ويجهر بالقراءة في صلاة العيدين, that they jahar, I mean must read it loudly, make it loud. And ويخطب بعد الصلاتين, and the khutbah in Eidain is done after the namaz, unlike Jum'ah where it's done before the namaz. In the Eidain it is done after the namaz. And in the khutbah it is required that he should teach people about Sadaqah Fitr and also the ahkam of the Sadaqah Fitr. And the ahkam is that who is it obligatory upon, and who, I mean necessary upon, and who, and why is it necessary, and when does it become necessary, and how much is necessary, and from who is it necessary, who needs to pay, so all of these things, and why does it, from which things it becomes necessary, which things can be given as a fitr, sadaqah fitr. وَمَنْ فَاتَتُ صَلَاةُ الْعِيدِ مَعَ الْإِمَامِ مِنْ وَقْتِهَا, that a person missed the namaz Eid with the imam, then he doesn't have to repeat it on his own. Right? Understood that?
Could you just say if a person reads with...
Misses the namaz.
Oh, yeah.
Missed the namaz Eid with the imam, so he couldn't reach the namaz of the Eid with imam, then he will not read it on his own. He missed it, that's it, gone.
So you can't read it.
Can't read it.
Then there's no qaza for that.
No qada for that, obviously. Can only do with jama'ah. فإن غم الحلال على الناس على آخره. No, فإن غم الحلال على الناس على الناس. That if the cloudy conditions make the hilal, the moon unclear or hidden, then what they have to do then they can delay the Eid namaz for the next day or the day after. This is Eid al-Fitr, yeah? Sorry, they can only delay this for the next day. And but even if they can't do it the next day because there were conditions which prevented them from doing it the next day, then what they could do, they will not read Eid al-Fitr after that. So وَلَمْ يُصَلِّهَا بَعْدَ. So from after the second day and the third day they won't read the Eid al-Fitr. But in the Eid al-Adha, it is mustahab again to do the ghusl, shower, and also applying the itr and the perfume, and also unlike Eid al-Fitr, it is mustahab to delay the eating until after the namaz. In Eid al-Fitr, the eating is mustahab before the namaz. So one should do eating before leaving for the musalla. Whereas in the Eid al-Adha, it is mustahab to delay the eating until after the namaz. Right? You can continue eating, no worries. ويؤخر الأقرأ حتى يفرغ من الصلاة, and until it is finished the namaz. ويتوجه المصلى ويكبر, and in this time it is when he will turn toward the musalla, he will do the takbirat. He should do takbir, and also يصلي الضحى ركعتين and read 2 rak'ats of the Eid al-Adha, just like he did in the Eid al-Fitr, with 6 extra takbirat. And after that the Imam should do khutbah, where he should teach the public about the qurbani, the sacrifice, and also takbirat al-tashriq, which is the takbirat in the Eid days. And but if the conditions prevented people from reading namaz on the day of Eid, Yawm al-Adha, then they would read it in the second day, or if they can't do it in the second day, in the third day as well. But after the third day they won't do. Unlike Eid al-Fitr, they can only repeat it, they could only do it for one day, do it the next day, but then they can't do it, delay it further. But in this case, they can delay it for 2 days, so from today or tomorrow, or from the third day they can also read.
You know by delaying, you mean because of this
Condition. So because there was a condition, people could not read. So because this now is not applicable, obviously, because originally they used to read namaz Eid in open places now, in musalla, which was outside the town, open, and so in conditions such as rain would prevent them from reading. So now it's less applicable now, but still could be applicable in places. For example, there could be curfew somewhere, people can't go out, they can delay for the next day, or there could be similar reasons. There could be flooding, there could be a lot of rain, they couldn't go out, many reasons. Anyway, so they should, with Eid al-Adha, they can delay for the day after or the third day. So لا يصلي بعد ذلك, but after that they don't read it. And takbir tashriq, the extra takbirat for the day of, for the month, for the days of tashriq. أوله وقيب صلاة الفجر من يوم عرفة. That the first takbir tashriq will be on the 9th of Dhul Hijjah. Right? The 9th of Dhul Hijjah after the Fajr namaz. It is that after Fajr namaz they would do takbir tashriq, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Lillahi alhamd. Right? That's takbir tashriq. Should be there, by the way. There we are. And وآخره وقيل صلاة العصر, and the last, the end of takbirat tashriq would be after the Salatul Asr in Yawm al-Nahr. So Yawm al-Nahr is the third day of Eid. So after the third day of Eid, the Salatul Asr of the third day of Eid, there will be no takbirat tashriq. Takbir tashriq is, it's not there, but it's there. It's written in the Roman. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, alhamd.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah.
So that only lasts for 3 days.
3 days, the Ayyam tashriq. And takbir is only said after the Salat al-Mafrudat. Yeah, fard. So even if the person is alone, he should read the takbirat.
It's really dangerous.
And eat. We take the risk. It's poison.
What's the point? What's the point?
We defend it. Inside the apricots. Take the risk. I'll get the risk to be proven. Why is the orange? Eat it. Where? Yeah. Yeah. It's too juicy.
Alright, so that was it. The discussion of Edain ends here. And that also means that it's time for us to go now, 9:30. And we hope that you learned something today and that you'll be able to remember this for the time to come. And soon, inshallah, we'll start the discussion of Siyam once we have finished talking about the Edain and the Kusuf now. After the Kusuf, there's Salat Shahr Ramadan, the Salatul Tarawih, and then Salatul Janaiz. Once we have finished that,
Yeah.
we are good to start talking about the soul, the fasting. Okay? Jazakallah, Assalamu alaikum.